Hey there, and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into the most incredible instruction manual ever written, the source code of life itself. It's this hidden program that's running inside every living thing, including you. So let's get right into it.
So what even is this source code? How does a simple set of instructions build something as complex as a giant redwood tree, or a beetle, or a human being? Well, that is the big question, and we're going to unravel it together.
The easiest way to think about it is like a blueprint. But this isn't a blueprint for a building. No, it's the blueprint for you. And the crazy part is, a complete, super detailed copy of it is packed inside every single one of your cells. Yep, you heard that right. 37 trillion copies. That means a cell in your eyeball and a cell in your big toe have the exact same master plan that makes you who you are. The scale of that is it's almost impossible to wrap your head around.
Okay, so let's zoom in. Imagine we're shrinking down, going inside one of those cells, past the outer wall, and into the super secure central library. This library is called the nucleus, and it's where that master plan is kept. And that plan? It's called DNA. DNA looks like this beautiful, twisted ladder, what we call a double helix. But here's the most amazing part: the entire vast language of life. Everything it takes to build a living thing is written with an alphabet of just 4 chemical letters: A, T, C, and G. That's it.
And just how long is this book of you? Well, get this. The human genome, your personal instruction manual, contains 3 billion of these letters. 3 billion characters that spell out everything from the color of your eyes to the way your heart pumps blood.
To try and put that into perspective, if you were to print out all 3 billion letters of your genetic code, you'd have a stack of books reaching 20 stories high. And all that information is packed into a space smaller than a single grain of dust. It's just incredible.
All right, so we've got this massive blueprint, and it's locked away safe and sound in the nucleus. But a plan is pretty useless if it just sits on a shelf in a library, right? So how does the cell actually use these instructions to, build stuff? Well, this is where a process called the central dogma comes into play.
The whole process is actually brilliantly simple. First, the cell makes a quick, temporary copy of a specific instruction from the DNA blueprint. That's called transcription, and the copy is a molecule called RNA. Then, that RNA message travels out of the library to the cell's construction sites. There, the code is read and the final product is built, a protein. And that final step? That's called translation.
This whole system is all about one thing: protection. Think of the DNA as the original, priceless master blueprint. You'd never take that to a messy construction site, right? Of course not. It stays locked away for safekeeping. The RNA is like a disposable photocopy. It carries the instructions, does its job, and then it gets thrown away. It's a really elegant way to make sure the original master plan never gets damaged.
So, what's the whole point of all this? Why go through all this trouble? Well, it's all about building proteins. Proteins really are the workhorses of the cell. If DNA is the blueprint and RNA is the memo, then proteins are both the construction workers and the building materials. They're what you get when the genetic code is put into action. And they do, well, pretty much everything. The protein keratin? That's what makes up your hair. Proteins called actin and myosin are what allow your muscles to move. Hemoglobin is the protein that carries oxygen all through your blood. And antibodies? Yep, those are proteins too, fighting off viruses for you. They are the tiny machines that make life possible.
Now, when you're copying 3 billion letters over and over again, mistakes are bound to happen. You can think of them as tiny little typos in the blueprint. We call these mutations, and even a single tiny one can have a huge effect.
So let's use a simple sentence as an example of a gene, okay? Here, the instruction is perfectly clear. Our big dog can run. It makes total sense. But what happens if just one letter gets swapped? Suddenly, dog becomes fog. The sentence still kind of works, but the meaning is completely different. This is exactly what a mutation in DNA can do. A tiny change can completely alter a protein. In fact, sickle cell anemia is caused by just one typo like this out of all 3 billion letters. Well, what if a letter just gets deleted? Well, that can cause something called a frame shift, and the rest of the sentence just turns into unreadable gibberish. Inside a cell, this usually means you get a protein that doesn't work at all. But here's the thing. These typos aren't always bad, not at all. In fact, they're the raw material for evolution. A small change might create a new, useful trait, and that's what drives the incredible diversity of life on Earth. But at the same time, they can cause thousands of genetic diseases. So it's a real double-edged sword.
Okay, let's zoom back out for a second. We've gone from a simple 4-letter code to a 3-step process to the trillions of proteins that make you, well, you. This whole system is truly the engine of all biology. Just stop and think about that. Right now, as you're sitting here, trillions upon trillions of your cells are reading their DNA, making RNA copies and building proteins, all just to keep you alive and functioning. It is without a doubt the most complex, the most efficient, and honestly, the most beautiful process we've ever discovered.
And that leaves us with one last, really powerful thought. For the first time in the history of life on this planet, we can't just read our own source code. We're learning how to edit it. So the huge question for our future isn't just about what our code says anymore. It's about what happens when we finally pick up the pen and decide to rewrite it ourselves.